It's always fun to hear Americans tell stories about the third world. I was born and raised in the third world. And it's the same story. I was watching, all the Americans are watching TV, they want National Geographic, they want to have the National Geographic experience. I was watching Heart to Heart. You ever saw Heart to Heart? It's about, who comes up with these ideas? It's about two multimillionaire private investigators. I don't know if you ever met a private investigator. Have you ever met a multimillionaire private investigator? Anyway, I was broke with my friend and we had 2 slices of white bread and a spoonful of mayonnaise. And we were watching Heart to Heart. And they had a dog, a Shih Tzu, and he was called Freeway. And it was Freeway's birthday. And in the movie, Freeway was put on a buffet. There was a buffet, a long table, like a 100-yard table full of food with all the guests, and the dog of the millionaires, the Shih Tzu, was put on the table and he ate whatever he wanted. And I decided I was going to go to the United States of America as soon as I possibly could, because I enjoyed my half-white bread mayonnaise sandwich with my hungry friend. We got here and we saw the freeway. Once you get here, you have the same experiences you guys have there. You're like looking for the first world. Where's the second world? Where's that, Jupiter? I don't know. Nobody talks about it. But the first world is nowhere to be found. I spent all day today working with a cleaning crew, cleaning up a neighborhood in North Philadelphia, on 11th and Marvin, something like that. And there was piles of garbage that were picked up by a bulldozer. So I don't know how long it took to get that pile up there, but it was interesting to see the first world. It was very efficient. The bulldozer came, picked it up, took it away, because there was camera crews. So it's hard to understand America when you're watching TV, and it's hard to understand the third world when you're watching National Geographic. And one of the hardest things to understand, but I get it, is the bullfight. And I never went to a bullfight as a grown-up, except for once when I was 24 years old. And I can see how it's kind of scary, and if you're an animal lover, you can see, you just don't get it. But I was born and raised around bullfights, and my best friend, his father, was the doctor of the bullfight ring in Bogota, in the Plaza of Santa Maria. And I went to the bullfights every Sunday from when I was 6 years old until I was like 13 years old. And it was quite a sight, and it was just incredible. And it's incredible how much you don't get when you don't understand what's happening in there. Ultimately, it's a guy killing a bull that's going to get eaten. It's basically killing a bull by hand. Which is, it could be defined as a craft if you lived in a first world country. It's like picking up a big pile of garbage with a bulldozer and picking up a big pile of garbage by hand. But it's quite a sight. And when you're a kid, you look at these guys and they're like dressed in like these colorful outfits, and it's all about bravery and this kind of like weird manliness that it's impossible to describe unless you grow around it as a child. And I got to meet Paquirri, who was a famous matador. And before the Sunday evening where they actually fight the bull, there is a party, like a luncheon at the farm where they raise the bulls. And they set up a table. It's just like a beautiful setup where they set up a big table and everybody's there, and the bullfighters are there, and the people that raise the bulls are there, and the owners of the plaza are there, and they do it in the fields where the bulls grow. And the bulls are like, around, like they're eating their grass and doing their thing. And all of a sudden, one of the bulls started kind of getting nervous, getting territorial, and he starts kind of like stomping on the ground and approaching the table. And one of the hosts comes up to us and he says, just so you know, the bulls are acting up, we might want to get on the other side of the fence. And Paquirri, the bullfighter, is standing like 100 feet away from the table. He's got a blade of grass in his mouth. And it's kind of like the epitome of elegance. This guy's got like incredible posture, and he's like incredibly handsome, and he's got this blade of grass, and he's got a glass of wine. And we're all like getting away, jumping over the fence. And the bull comes storming at him. He just comes running at him, and this thing is like 500 pounds, and it's just like an incredible animal. And we're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And Paquirri is just standing like this with his hands in his pocket with his wine. And the bull just coming up to him and stops right here in front of him, and they look at each other. He's looking at him like, ha, toro, toro. Sipping his wine, toro. And then he walks over the fence and talks with us, and we're like, Pakiri, are you crazy? And he's like, you think a bull is going to kill me in a field? And it was this incredible sense of what he understands and what he knows that nobody else does. And so I guess we all have a world in our own head, and it's hard to understand it if you're just watching it on National Geographic.